Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of a podcast where two guys on the internet talk about the sport of triathlon. Talking Triathlon is that podcast. You know, you're listening or watching on YouTube. My name is Tim Ford, and I'm joined by the sexiest voice in triathlon himself, James Bale. Jimbo, how you going, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. We've just done the bonus episode,
There we
and
go.
now
Woo!
I yeah, I'm taking off. I've just, we do the bonus, it's audio only, and then I have to sort of sharpen myself up a bit, realize that this is the one that's filmed. So bring some enthusiasm, bring some energy to the table. Yeah, life is not too bad. It's been fairly busy this week, but I've ordered myself a new car.
Ooh.
That's a good thing I've done this week. So,
What many people don't actually realize is, and again, much to my displeasure and protest, is that you actually insist on recording the bonus episodes naked. And it's like, mate, can you just not? Like, I still have to look at you. So, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
maybe we should start filming the bonuses and putting them on because you can do it. There's like a membership thing on YouTube. Maybe just
Yeah, yeah.
even for
Then
my pleasure. So you stop
you wouldn't
podcasting
have
nude.
that 5 minute delay while I re-robed
I know.
in between recordings.
Is that how you record your other podcasts? Because obviously you like to podcast in the nude. So is that
It's
your,
how I do everything in life, other than this moment here that goes on YouTube.
Have there been any new have there been any new updates with my favorite pictures? Like, has anybody else done any good edits, sent you anything lately?
I mean, the one that you did today was, I assume that was you, was spectacular. It got widely shared.
I saw that. I'm assuming it was Maria who put up the post on the Get Out in It account, and it said, like, hopefully the internet stopped bullying James Bale for now. And I commented, I'm like, are you sure they have? I'm not sure they have. So it is
No,
the
I feel that the frequency is dying down, but I think it's got some legs in it yet, where every now and again someone's going to be like have a little idea and think, oh, you know what I'm going to do with that? I'm going to put that together. But anyway, how are you, mate?
No, I'm good. I had a little niggle, I suppose, last a few alarm bells went off when I was obviously doing a lot of run volume at the moment, trying to get ready for a marathon as part of my season. And uh viewers behind will see that I've got my speed concept without a rear wheel because it's my trainer bike at the moment, and then my Madone. And I put my Madone in for like a big service a few weeks ago and hadn't used it because it'd been raining. And on the weekend, I decided to go out for a bike ride. And almost instantly, I was like, something's different about this bike. Like, it doesn't feel quite right, but it's okay. You know, I haven't ridden the bike in like a month. Maybe it's just that. But after about 15K, I thought, fuck this. Like, this ain't right. I think the saddle's been moved up. Like, I think the saddle's high. And I'm riding, and it was fine, but it really felt like the saddle was jammed up my ass a bit. And like, it wasn't so high that I couldn't pedal, but it was a bit uncomfortable. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just deal with it. Whatever, I can't be bothered. Checked. It looked like they'd actually moved the saddle up by like, 3 or 4, 5 centimeters, like a significant change. Long story is,
Hyperextending your knee, were you?
the knee actually, but anyway, so I did a run off the bike, and after the run, like with like 1K to go, I got this feeling in my calf, like probably in the soleus, just under the big, that big gastrocnemius, and it felt like my calf was about to cramp. And I was like, oh, that's not good. Probably should just back things off a little bit, and then had a 32K run to do on Sunday, and within like 2K, I was like, that's back. Like, that's not good, and it felt pretty bad. And I was so nervous, especially after seeing what happened to Cat Matthews I was worried that I had a little tear or something. So turned around, didn't do the long run. Went to the physio on Monday. It's all good, thank cross. I'm back running. It seems fine, but it was definitely because of the. It's a
Yeah,
long way
yeah.
of basically saying. So the little possible
It's a
problem.
strange thing to do to a bike and not to tell the person who picks it up that you've increased the saddle height by 5 centimeters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were trying to work out what had happened, and because my physio also is the bike fitter who works at the shop that did the service, and he's like, "What the fuck have they done?" I said, "I don't know. It doesn't make sense
Yeah.
to me either." But all resolved now. But yeah, the car's all good. So that was just a little bit of a hiccup, but we'll be back. It's back to regular programming this weekend, which is good. So yeah,
Cool, cool. Let's talk about some triathlon, shall we?
we shall. But before we do that, as you said, we have done a bonus episode just before. And if you guys want to hear that bonus episode, you can head to patreon.com/talking triathlon. It's a pretty loosey goosey one. I use some pretty bad language in this one. Like I do. You think the language is bad on this podcast? Listen to a bonus. But we talk about, what do we talk? We talk about the Vespa Triathlon team a fair bit, to be honest.
We talk. We talk about Super Try. We
Super
talk
true.
about Lionel Sanders and his ever-changing coach situation.
All the rumors, constant rumors in the sport and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah. So if you enjoy that,
It was a
head to,
bit businessy, wasn't it, this week? That,
yeah, it
that that
is.
bonus podcast, a little bit businessy, a little
Bit
bit
it's corporate. We've gone corporate,
finance
James.
driven.
We've gone corporate. Uh, yeah, well, where do we would sponsor triathletes? There's all the stuff we talked about. So head to patreon.com/talking triathlon. You get the WhatsApp group, all the other stuff we do. Before we talk about racing, we should talk about the fact that I had an absolute shocker in the fantasy league this week. I went from being on top of the world, leading the thing, to last place in my Cagliari picks. I had an absolute disaster, mate.
Yeah, you were not in a you didn't so you came last in that pick selection.
Yeah.
If it's any help, I came third from last. So,
But the point different. It's like I'm 600 points behind the guy. Who
yeah,
who
yeah,
was is
yeah.
it Corey who
There's
was leading?
there's a there's a huge drop off from even from 12th place to 13th where you are. There's a huge drop. It's
Yeah.
like you just intentionally made the wrong choices. Um,
I didn't.
I, um, Annoyingly, one place above me is Sean Green again. That just the man dogs my every turn.
Getting a coffee, thank you. Yes, I did really, really badly. But do you want to start with Cagliari? I think it's probably a good place to start.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, should we start with the men's or the women's?
We can start with the men's race. Cagliari obviously is the last race before the Olympic qualification period ended. For a lot of nations, it was a major priority race. A lot of countries have a lot of uncertainty going into the event. I know British Triathlon had it is that one of their major selection events. And I think like France, for example, if you had a top six finish, you automatically secured your spot. USA Triathlon, obviously a lot going into it. We spoke about the fact that Gwen wasn't going to get a start. What was Katie going to do? So before we talk about the specific races, do you think how are things clearer about the Olympics to you? Do you have a much better
No,
idea?
I was. We'll get into the details a bit later, but I truly went into this race thinking that we were going to have some definitive answers afterwards, but we haven't got those definitive answers
I
at
think we have
all.
I think we have two
Um,
definitive answers. I think there are two definitive. I have two definitive, or three actually. Pierre Lecour has locked his Olympic place, but I think I know
yeah,
who's going to win the gold medals in Paris definitively. I would
yeah, I
put
think so too.
I would
Yeah,
put so much money at this point on Alex Yee and Cassandre Beaugrand winning. Like
yeah,
I did not expect Alex Yee to come out this early with this sort of. The reason I didn't pick Alex for the win, I didn't even pick him for my top five, was I thought that the big race is in a couple of months, right? Like this is going to be a bit of a test, see where he's at or whatever. I did not expect him to be firing the way he was. I'm sorry to say it, Hayden. I love you to death, but you were never beaten Alex at this race. And this to me is what we have seen when Alex is on. There's nothing that anybody can do that can. There's nothing. There's no tricks up their
no,
sleeve.
no.
And
If he's within striking distance on that run, like he was in this one, shoulder to shoulder, it was like a foregone. It's like watching a foregone conclusion play out
yeah,
because no matter how hard Hayden wants it or wills it in that moment, he couldn't match him on that run pace.
and he
And
also
it's like
couldn't lose him
he's
on the bike.
yeah, and he slowly falls back. It wasn't like it was painful. I mean, again, going back to something I said on the bonus episode, the Olympic final is 1 day's racing. You never know what's going to happen, what outside events are going to take place, mechanicals, injuries, fatigue, illness, getting boxed in, unique events in a racing environment where everybody is absolutely pushing probably harder than it's like watching a World Cup final. It's not like watching a standard
Yeah.
football match.
The, the other part of it, right? And we're immediately not talking about the Cagliari results. We're talking about a hypothetical Olympic situation. But I look back 3 years to the Tokyo lead up, and obviously Hayden was a name, but like probably wasn't super high on my list of. I don't like really happy that he got the medal and everything, but Hayden is going to this event as the underdog, but knows like that it is a possibility that he can win, but also understands that Alex has that edge over him with the run. And I guess one of the concerns I have for somebody like Hayden is that he pushes too hard trying to close that gap before the race. Like that's when you see these injuries happen, right? Because we haven't. I'm telling you now, there's going to be stress fractures. There's going to be that we are not going to have the best 55 athletes racing in Paris. And I really hope, because I fucking love Hayden, that he doesn't risk too much to try to counter Alex's run, end up not being able to run. I have this fear. And again, Hayden's really good at not getting injured. But as you said, the Olympics ain't any regular race. And I just worry that maybe trying to mitigate that benefit, that buffer that Alex will have over him might lead to something. I don't know. Again, it's hypothetical, right? But I just hope it doesn't.
Do you think, right, we'll get into the men's race in a minute, but like in this race, in
Mhm.
this moment, the Cagliari final, do you think both athletes, Alex and Hayden, went as deep as they will go on that Olympic final day?
No, no.
No,
I mean,
I agree. I
you,
don't think so either.
you saw, I think in the post-race interview, Alex even said that they've really, like he said, the first probably 7 or 8K was rapid and they backed it off a bit, to be honest, because they got so far ahead of everybody else. They sort of knew it was between the two of them. Yeah, no, I don't think they went as deep as they needed to, but I also think that I just don't think that Hayden goes deep as he needs and Alex will answer. I really,
I feel that as well. I almost feel like that was um he sort of accepted that there was no point in this race pushing that extra bit because Alex would have the answer. So, what's the point
mm,
in going as deep as you possibly can and risking that injury, that really long recovery period because you've just gone into the fucking red?
that doesn't
What's the
matter.
point
Yeah.
in that? In this,
Yeah.
it was almost like he's beating me.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Yep.
It ain't it. This ain't the day.
Mm,
There's going to be on the day he is going to go into that red line to try and create that victory for himself. And what happens then. And you never know. Roll the dice. Why not? But there was no point in pushing into that red zone here. That's the impression I got because I watched
yeah.
I watched I watched him finish and it wasn't flat out like a motherfucker.
No, no, definitely.
But I mean, yeah.
They definitely
Talking
like,
about the race, it was mainly all together most of the time, wasn't it? Until those two just pissed off the front of out of T2 and fucked off and left everybody for dead.
yeah, look, let's talk about the specifics of the race because there's a few there's firstly, Hayden was right up there out of the swim. Like for Hayden to be like there, well done, mate. Like again,
Yeah.
Hayden is a very, very well balanced athlete, but his swim has always just been a little bit of a weakness. Seems though he seems to have done a lot of work on his swim because that was, he was last out of the water that was it the Napier World Cup? The Napier World Cup in like he was what second last out of the water. Here he is front pack at a WTCS event. Like awesome. Suddenly changes the complete like Kristian even has to sort of ride through and stuff. So that was fantastic to see. And then yeah, you saw Hayden also trying to make a break on the bike. He was the only guy, and then he had obviously Sam Dickinson just like, nah, mate, I'm here to sort of shut this down. Nobody going with Hayden. Like it's you could see him trying those things because I think he knows he has to get a gap over
Yeah,
Alex.
he was trying to crack that code, wasn't he, and find a way. Um,
Yeah, but
but
they
like you
didn't.
say, you had Sam Dickinson super domestiquing, not only for the benefit of Alex, but also his own. He was flying his "Please pick me" flag because it was a demonstration of look what I can do, look what I can do, I can be really useful. That's the impression I got from it
I
anyway.
100% think that's what it was because yeah, and then it was a two-man run battle, and that's I really
9.9 kilometers of the run, mate. They were shoulder to shoulder.
yeah, like literally, this was this was a dress rehearsal. This is what we're gonna. This is what's gonna happen in Paris. Like mark my
Yeah,
words.
yeah, yeah. Injury and illness aside, if that doesn't happen, this was exactly what we're gonna get on an Olympic day.
Those two, 1, 2, and somebody we don't
Because
know in third. That's what's gonna happen.
yeah,
It
yeah,
could
yeah.
be
It
anyone,
could be,
anybody in third.
could be anybody. Yeah,
Yeah,
could be anybody. But those two, the way the form book is looking right now, it's just going to be shoulder to shoulder.
Mhm.
And the way, I mean, so far, every metric we've got says that Alex has got the edge of him.
Yep. Yep,
I
yep, yep,
mean,
yep,
I
yep.
know he set that, what is it, 5K
Mm-hmm.
record
13
on,
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, on a track, and brilliant, love it. But he, in race conditions, he has never outran this man.
Not when they're both at 100%, right? There's always been times where,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I
But
also
that's got to be in his brain, isn't it?
that's why I said the stuff at the, that is in there, right? And I just wonder if he's going to push the envelope a little bit because of it. Pierre Lecour. So let's talk about the French now, because the French situation is almost as fraught as the some of the others. But Pierre Lecour secured his spot for the Olympics. His sixth place
That
finish
was
means he,
cool. It was cool seeing it, wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was
The way
awesome.
he was off the back of those three athletes that were racing together, and he had to get up there and get into sixth. He caught up with them, but then someone else caught up with them as well, and
Yeah.
suddenly there were more athletes than he needed there, and he was like, "Fuck." You know, I can imagine. I don't know if he was, but I can imagine his brain
Et
was probably like,
putain, yeah.
"Eh putain." But then he managed to finish in sixth, and you saw that
The
visible
fist
relief
pump.
and that celebration, the fist pump as he crossed the line, which was really cool to see because he'd obviously knew what he needed to do. He'd been counting where he was on the course. You don't lose where you are, and he got it done.
And it sounds, because I've heard, and look, just because it's said on a podcast, don't believe it. Cannot guarantee this is true, but I've heard that Dorian Connix has a plate, sorry, a titanium in the wrist, and is already swimming. And it sounds like, I believe that
Is what? Sorry,
he's got a titanium in his wrist because he broke his wrist in that
sorry.
crash. Dorian
Did you just
Connix.
say you're coaching Lionel Sanders?
It's true. You caught me, mate. Um, Fuck that. I enjoyed. I'm not a glutton for punishment. Uh, and yeah. Anyway, so Dorian Connix, I think, is so basically what I mean to say is two of the spots are now confirmed. Dorian Connix and Pierre Lecour, I believe. I don't know. Don't know. It's not. Don't quote me. Don't take it as gospel. It's Leo Berger or Vincent Louis for the third spot for France, mate.
Mm.
And I do not know who you pick.
Well, Leo Berger was 16th in this race, and Vince Louis was ninth, wasn't he?
I say I don't know. To me, it's obvious. I should say I know who I would pick. I don't know who the French will pick. To
No,
me, it is
I do. I know who the French will pick.
who will they pick?
They'll pick Vince Louis.
God, fucking Leo Berger, man. World champion 2 years ago, Super League champion last year, hasn't been injured. Very, yeah, it's some bullshit, right?
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
will. I'm as sure of that as I am of who's going to be fighting for first and second in the Olympic
I
triathlon.
don't think you'd pick Vincent Louis, mate. He's never been good at Olympic distance. He's much better at the he's good for
Oh,
the relay.
look, I would pick. Were I suddenly promoted by France to be the French Olympic selector, I would pick Leo Berger. But
It's Vincent Louis.
knowing the French as I do, I believe they will pick Vincent Louis. And I believe they will use this result as an excuse to do that.
Yeah, have you got the actual list? Because I mean, there's some notable
Yeah.
DNFs.
So
Tyler
Alex
Mazik.
Yee was
Yeah,
first, Hayden Wild was second. Um, how do I say that name?
I don't know. I can't see it. Just try. Do your best.
Songor Lehman was in third.
Okay.
And then who else we got? Pierre Lecour was in sixth. Charles-Barclay was in seventh. Vince Lou was in ninth. Jonas Schongberg was in 10th. Martin Van Riel was in 12th. Hugo Milner in 13th.
Killer run.
Tyler Reed in 15th. Leo Berger was in 16th. And we start descending down through the order. DNFs, there's quite a long list of DNFs, including Tyler Mislaw, Chuck, Sam Dickinson, Max Stapley, Henry Schumann. What is it with Mislatuk and Schumann DNFing all the time, mate?
Well, probably doesn't help when they first take each other out, or Henry took out
Yeah.
Tyler in Yokohama. I do know. So Henry got sick, swallowed too much seawater, and was vomiting at the end of the bike, and just couldn't continue on the run. And then Tyler had a concussion after Yokohama, and just wasn't right. Got dizzy on the bike, and again didn't want to risk it. And I actually think it's
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
honestly, I
Good
said to
call.
Tyler,
Fair enough.
I said to Tyler this week, man, I said, you might think I'm being weird or whatever, but I think we need to find like a witch doctor or somebody to do a cleansing ceremony or something, because we need to. And I'm not even being sarcastic. I said, I know this might sound ridiculous, but desperate times, mate. We actually might need to
Yeah.
consider some alternative methods to try to whoever Whoever fuck you pissed off some witch
He's
doctor or
wronged somebody somewhere, hasn't he?
Jesus, this guy cannot get a
Yeah.
break. It's so upsetting because I know how good Tyler is, and I know what sort of shape he's in, and he just cannot get the opportunity to show everybody, and it's just not fair, and yeah, it's brutal, mate, fucking brutal. And then Max had a puncture on the third lap, and again, I also think Max is in such good form at the moment that yeah, sport's cruel, man. Sport's really, really cruel.
Is it is indeed. Now, look, Rob, before we go over to the women's race, let's have a think about the Olympic selection
Yep,
based on this.
yep.
Now, as we've already said, Sam Dickinson was basically auditioning for that super domestique kind of look. I can shut down attacks on the bike. I'm almost going to sacrifice my own ambitions to try and put a flag up.
In
And then you've
no
got
world do I pick Sam Dickinson for the. There is no world in which I pick Sam Dickinson for the UK team. None. To me, zero chance. Zero chance. You don't pick him. There's no way you pick him.
no, and then you've got Hugo Milner as well.
Also, I would not pick him. I would not.
No,
Actually, I believe. Sorry, I should say. I saw this that. So there, Sam Dickinson and Johnny Brownlee are racing a European Cup race in Poland this weekend, and apparently it's like a hit out to see who's going to get the shot at the Olympics. I don't think it is. Like I don't agree with it, but I think Johnny Brownlee is he's got the spot, mate. For the same reasons we spoke about the other day. It's Johnny, and it's not about
yeah,
Alex doesn't need a domestique, mate. If we were seeing
yeah,
the Alex of a few years ago, where his weakness was on the bike, I would understand it. But Alex is getting out of the water with Hayden and ahead of like he's up there. He's able to shut down every attack. Like that front group in Cagliari got ripped to shreds, mate. Like that group got strung out. There was a group that dropped off the back because Hayden was absolutely ripping it. Alex here was there. And yeah, Sam Dickinson sort of went with Hayden and wouldn't allow him to get away or work with him. But it was Hayden was never going to get away on his own. So he doesn't need a domestique. So I don't think it's
no,
great. It's great. Awesome, Sam. I think it's fantastic that he sort of put his hand up and say he's willing to do that. I don't think it's a factor. I think what they
no,
think
and
is
also,
mixed
and it
relay.
was his best card to play. I feel
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah, to put that flag in the air and say, look, I'm a team player. I'm a safe pair of hands. I'm exactly what you might want me to be in this situation. I just don't think, like you, I don't think it's required. I think Hugo Milner is has got a great future ahead of him if he tweaks a few things.
The bike.
But I think he's hey,
The bike. He has to get much better on the
yeah,
bike.
but he's just not there yet, and I don't think his time isn't right. His
Le-
time might come, and then
legitimately,
I
if
really think Brownlee's the key.
if Max Stapley was eligible, which we now know he is not, Max Stapley, I actually think could have like to me, Max is the only one who could have actually threatened Johnny because
Yeah, the only reason that he's not in this conversation is because he's not in the
correct.
conversation.
So to me, looking at who is available, it's Johnny Brownlee with no. Like I said, we said this last week, right? Fuck knows. In 2 months' time, he could come out and he could be in shape to win a medal in the individual somehow. Oh,
He's got that individual wild card element who's done it, knows how to race for medals, knows how to win and get on the podium. And if the form's there, he's got the head for it. But
the
he's also got that I am fucking good in a mixed team reload no matter where my head's at.
the only reason I could see Hugo Milner even being considered, the only reason, the only scenario is if it is which Paris very much could be, is that it's just one big pack on the bike. If it isn't, I don't think it will be because it's the Olympics, right? And you're going to see a Hayden trying to get away from Alex. But if it is one big group and Hugo's run, I mean, his run's good. We're not talking about him running a minute faster than Alex and Hayden. Like he's running comparable speeds to those guys, but he's coming from 2 minutes down. That's the only scenario in which I see him. Maybe he's not going to be able to contribute to the mixed team relay, so that's a huge thing. Johnny is. So that's why to me it's Johnny Brownlee. Unless he's just absolutely shit and he can't even do the mixed team relay. I mean, he's there on the swim and bike, mate. His swim and bike's fine. We just haven't seen that run. And as I've said 100 times now, he can fake a 1 mile run. Like he can do that. So it's Johnny Brownlee. I think like to me at this point it's a foregone conclusion. I'd be very surprised if it's not Johnny.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And I think it should be as well.
So do I.
I think it's It's a case of closing that circle.
It's a
Just roll the dice,
yeah.
see what you can do, get him out there. He's Johnny fucking Brownlee.
Do you think we see him move up to middle distance after this? Actually,
Yeah,
or do,
I mean, he was on the he after the last Olympics, didn't he? He stated that he wasn't going to do any more short distance, and then he went and did that Super League performance. He talked himself back into it. Um, so there's absolutely, in my opinion, zero chance that after this Olympics he goes through that process again. I think this will be actually it because this is the extra one that he wasn't going to do, let alone a
true.
fucking extra one.
We'll see.
Jesus.
Yeah, man, I know. I just fucking announced it already. Put us out of our misery.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe it's next week. As because I was actually looking at the USA stuff as well, which we'll talk about now, I guess. But like, when do they announce? And it sounds like everybody sort of starts announcing next week. I do want to give a little shout out though to one of our patrons actually, Emil Holm. Got his a confirmation he's got his spot for Denmark at the Olympics. So congratulations, Emil. Again,
The legend. Good work.
he's a legend. I have so much time for Emil, and I was very very happy to see that he got his spot confirmed. So congratulations. Let's talk about the women's race.
Women's race. It was cool to see it,
It
wasn't
was
it?
good. It was a good race.
It
I
was.
I
It
enjoyed
was
the women's race a lot.
annoyingly my feed died with 1 kilometer of the run to go. So I was flailing around on the group trying to figure out who won it. But apparently that finish was quite spectacular.
Mate, I really, as is a constant sort of theme with a lot of the races I've watched, I really enjoyed the women's race. I didn't end up watching the whole of the men's race. I did something anyway, but I've watched the whole women's race from start to finish, and yeah, man, it was awesome. Like it was some there was some I mean some disappointments, but there's some really interesting things. There's some things I'd like to talk about, and maybe you would disagree, and I am gonna try to declare where I maybe have some biases and where I'm trying to be objective. But the selection criteria or picture for Team GB and for Team USA to me it ain't no clearer at this point in
No,
time.
no, no, no. But let's focus on this race first
Okay,
and what happened and
let's
what
do it.
didn't happen. So, full disclosure, I missed the start of the race. I was on my way down to Cornwall, so I didn't see
I
them
did.
get out of the swim. Go
There's a
ahead.
there's a bunch of false starts that they for some reason didn't award, which I still don't understand.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
So bizarre to me, like blatant false starts, and they didn't award them. But it was a pretty decent group. All the players you sort of expect to be there or thereabouts sort of get out of the water together. Maya King, my lead. We know how good Maya is, and then it was just a sort of group, and they rode around, and the same group that led run away with it. Like the thing is, it's not the course sucked, mate. Like I really didn't
Yeah, yeah.
enjoy this. The course was fucking terrible.
Yeah. But
Uh,
I mean, it's what you saw on this course is
it's
what
the
you're going to
Olympics,
see in
correct?
Paris. It's a very similar dynamic sort of course.
That's why I read so
You are
much into
not,
the results. I think it's why they mean so much to
yeah,
me.
yeah. And it going just launching straight back to the men's race quick before we do this. It's why you're not going to be able to see that bike attack succeed. You're
Mm.
not going to see those gaps be able to be brought up because you're going to see a course like this, which is where it's one big group riding around. It doesn't mean they won't stop trying. There will always be those attempts, but yeah, great to see Cassandre Beaugrand take her first WTCS Olympic distance win at this very, very critical and pivotal point in the season, just under 2 months or just over at this point before the Olympic final in her home country. She
Mm.
must be fucking buzzing, mate.
She made it look so good too, mate. Like
Yeah.
she, that's my gold medalist right there. Cassandra Beaugrand is
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah, yeah. I think take the race and put it anywhere. Beth Potter's in there with as good a shot,
Mhm.
but it's in Paris, mate, and that means something to an
Yeah.
athlete like Cassandra, and I think that is worth that deciding percentage because it's splitting hairs between the two of them when it comes down to run speed and run performance and ability to win, and I think that 0.0001% required to win this medal, I think she gets it from it being in France.
So correct me. It was Cassandra Beaugrand in first place. It was Anne Tersch
Lisa Tersh,
Lisa Tersh, sorry, in second place, and then
Beth
Beth Potter in
Potter
third.
in third, Emma Lombardi,
Fourth.
and then Georgia Taylor Brown in sixth, Sophie
Who's
Coldwell in
fifth?
seventh, Flora Duffy, Emma Leanne Leher,
Oh, Gian Leher. Okay, sorry. Of course,
yeah,
Sean ran through.
and then Kate Woff in 10th, Taylor Nibbin in 11th, Katie Zerez in 12th, who was the highest finishing
Behind him.
American
Behind him.
behind Nib. Yeah, I don't count
I
Nib.
know.
She's already
I just
selected.
love to pull you up on it. It makes me laugh.
Yeah, yeah. And then who else we got? Taylor Spivey in 15th.
Mm.
I picked her for fourth as
So did
well, actually.
I. I did as well.
Kirsten Casper in 21st. Maya Kingma, despite great performances in the swim and being present on the bike, 24th. And then it sort of descends from there. Summer Rappaport was a DNF. No one else really on the DNF list of note. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's lots to talk about. I think the main point in this is that Cassandre Beaugrand is going to come out of this with the wind at her sails,
Yep.
feeling like she's not only has she broken her duck at the Olympic distance, but she's now going into her home Olympics knowing that she
She can
can
do it.
beat all these other athletes on a day like this, which is very comparable to the day that they're going to have in Paris.
Some comments I have about the race. I think Emma Lombardi is maybe the most impressive like newcomer. We consider how young she is. Like Emma Lombardi is just constantly impressing me every race she does at the moment, it seems. I think that Emma is I think she's going to medal, to be honest. She's gonna be I'm going to pick her as one of the medals, I think. Uh Great to see Flora Duffy back, you know, running well. She ran through the field to get a really good well, she was top 10. I don't think you mentioned her in the results, but
Who?
like
Sorry.
Flora Duffy.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Okay.
Flora Duffy was in eighth.
And then Katie Zafiras. Like the Katie Zafiras result
Yeah, yeah.
was, I think Katie's made a very good statement as to why she should be the third
Oh,
American.
totally,
Uh,
totally.
do you want to talk about the Americans or do you want to talk about the Brits? Which you want to go with?
Let's talk about the Brits first. Look, I think Georgia Taylor Brown, I think, has shown that
She's got a spot, I think.
she is that spot. And you're going to disagree with me, but in my opinion, British Triathlon are going to pick Sophie Coldwell for that third spot. Kate, Kate, Kate is a fantastic athlete who I think I would pick were I British Triathlon selector for that mixed team relay strength and current. I don't know. It's interesting. I just got a feeling they're going to pick Coldwell. She's higher in the Olympic qualification rankings, but then I suppose
I
Woff beat Coldwell in Paris.
and in yeah, look,
Coldwell has a WTCS victory,
yeah,
Yokohama 23.
full disclosure, I obviously work with Kate, and I'm hand on heart. I'm trying to be objective here. I swear, if my biases creep through, they creep through. I'm sorry. I think you make every I can see a universe in which Sophie gets picked. I can see a universe in which Kate gets picked. Watching the race, I was obviously disappointed to see Kate be the fourth Brit. I am maybe going to be a little bit biased here. I don't know, but to me, it looked like Beth sort of paced Sophie around the course a little bit. I'm not saying that's the case.
No,
Like
Georgia.
Georgia, yeah, sorry, Georgia. Like it didn't look like I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably looking, like tinfoil hat on a little bit. It didn't look. It felt like she was dragging around a little bit. I don't know, but when Sophie finished the race, to me, that looked like she was she was a mess, mate. And I wonder if that's all Sophie. Like I, how I look at it, Beth Potter is the GB's best chance at a gold medal. I don't think she's going to win it. I think she's going to get a probably silver. I think Georgia could also potentially medal. I think she could get a silver, bronze. I still don't think she's going to win just because I think Cassandra is going to win. I don't know that Sophie, like, there's a chance that Sophie could get an individual. I think there's a chance that Kate could get individual. To me, it comes down to the mixed team relay, and I really feel like both Sophie and Kate are really good at that relay sort of thing. Kate won Super League. Like that's a huge second to the grand final. is going to be going to LA. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to see Kate in LA, and I just wonder if they want to give her a bit of experience before that. I don't know. I can see an argument for Sofak. I objectively think you pick Kate Woff. I don't know if they will, which I find a little bit obviously disappointing.
Then I think we agree on that then, because I think objectively I would also pick Kate.
Mm. So why do you
But
think
I
Team GB
just
wouldn't though? Like, do you think that like let's? I think I'm very guilty of. I don't have a lot of love for a lot of the federations, and Team GB in particular ruffle my feathers. Let's say. However, if you have to say one thing about them, is that they put their own self-interest first, right? And I wonder if their discretion, like they're obviously trying to keep the discretion to benefit themselves. So they don't look at it as what's in their best interests. And that's why I wonder if maybe we have been, maybe this will be the time. I mean, we have to, I don't know. Hopefully, it is actually about who's got the best chance of being successful. And I personally think that that's Kate. Do you think there's an ulterior motive with GB, or do you think like you say that you think they're going to pick her? What do you think the reasons for that are?
I think Sophie Coldwell. I think there's an element of Sophie Coldwell has.
She's with their program. She doesn't. She
Yeah,
trains in Leeds. It sort of
yeah,
shows the
exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's a
I
good point.
feel like what's the she's paid her dues. I think that's where
Do you think they
my
care?
mind
Do you
is.
think that they act like this? I get exactly
Um,
what you're saying. I wonder though if
look,
their self-interest
but
means that
it's not
they.
just like she hasn't got the metrics behind
It's
her where
true.
they can, she's paid her dues. She's won a WTCS event. She's higher on the Olympic qualification rankings.
Mm. It's a like you
It's
said.
not,
Yeah, I get
it's
it.
not, it's not beyond,
It's
it's
not
not
as
like,
it's not as murky as the USA team triathlon situation, for
no, not at
example.
all.
Yeah,
If they like, and as well, and you agree with me, I'm sure, if they pick Sophie Coldwell, taking out any biases, you'd be like, oh, I understand that.
fair enough.
It's not,
100%.
it's not like you'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake,
It's ridiculous. Yeah, you
there
could
is,
argue.
yeah,
You understand it.
it's
Yeah.
absolutely not ridiculous that they choose her. And therefore, in my opinion, they're going to choose her.
Do you wonder though? Then let's look at the Georgia Tech because I also think the Georgia Tech brand's basically a lock.
Yeah.
But based on those same criteria you've just given, though, I'm assuming that her ranking's not as high. I'm assuming that her like I know she's won a world title and stuff, but she's been injured for a lot lately. Like again, I don't know. I honestly, I sit here hand on heart, unable to tell you who I think is going to get picked. I could see it going either way.
Yeah, no, Georgia Taylor Brown is a lock. Olympic gold, Olympic silver, world championship title, you
Yeah,
know,
but that's how
and a
I get it all.
this performance to underline it.
I just we
She
are
came
guilty of
back.
yeah, I know. But we are guilty of having a very short memory in the sport. This is my only sort of thing, and it's still I don't know. Again, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't want to. I genuinely am trying not to sound biased here.
I can
I'm
see
really
a
trying to.
world where they've got Beth Potter, Georgia Taylor Brown, and Kate. I can see a world where they've
Yeah,
got Beth Potter, Georgia Taylor Brown, and Sophie. I cannot, for the life of me,
yeah, I agree.
see a world where they've got Beth Potter,
Sophie and Kate. Yeah,
Kate, and Sophie.
yeah, I
It ain't
agree.
a thing.
I
That
agree
ain't
with
a
that.
thing.
That ain't a thing. Man, I feel really bad for both Sophie and Kate. To be honest, at the
Oh
moment,
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
horrible
yeah,
for them
without
because
question.
neither of them done anything wrong, right? Like this is the cruelty of sport. It's not like
True.
they've done
Yeah.
everything right and they're still in a position like it's just unfortunate, right? And yeah, then we've got the similar. I don't want to talk about the British thing anymore. It's stressful.
No, no.
Um,
So
USA
US triathlon.
also stressful.
They subbed in Katie Safiras for Gwen Jorgensen just to see what would happen. And turns out she's a fucking good athlete, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is enough. I think this is enough for Katie to secure her third. I said maybe there's a scenario where they just don't see Taylor like Taylor Swift would be up there, but she might not be a medal threat. I don't know. I don't think that's like we just sort of said. I see a universe where it's Taylor, and Kate. I don't see a universe where it's Taylor, Katie, and Gwen. I'll be honest. I don't see a universe where it's Gwen. I don't see Gwen getting picked for these Olympics. I don't see Summer getting picked. I don't see Kirsten Casper getting picked. To me, it's fairly obvious now that it's going to be Taylor, and Katie. That's in my opinion. This performance was enough,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Um, you know how I've got that feeling about Sophie?
Yep.
I've got as much as I want to see it, I've got that anti feeling about Taylor Spivey.
Just because of history, right? She's been,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's something with US triathlon and Taylor
she was
Spivey that I don't.
she was a bit nasty about them when she was like, not nasty, nasty, sorry, nasty is the wrong word.
Yeah,
She had things to say about them when she was on our podcast this year.
there's something that my subconscious is saying to me.
Do you think it could be Gwen and Katie?
I hope to fuck they pick her. I really do.
If they don't, I mean, I think she's gone to long course after this anyway. She's doing the
Yeah,
T100
yeah,
series.
totally. By rights, by rights, Taylor Knibb, Katie Zaviras, Taylor Spivey. And I would be like, absolutely nailed it. Perfect. There's your combo. See
Hmm.
what happens on the day. If I see Taylor Knibb, Katie Zaviras, Gwen Jorgensen, I can say, oh, I understand that. Because she's got the racing mind, she's got the experience. Who knows? If I see Taylor Knibb, Katie Zaviras,
Summer?
and anyone else, Casper,
No.
I'm beginning to get into sort of like what territory? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. You're right, right? Like there's that Taylor spot. Like I thought Taylor spot. Yeah, I really hope she gets picked.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
funny
yeah.
though. Like, do you think? This is where I need to be trying to be objective, right? I assume USA Triathlon are going to be doing what's in their best interests. And yes, Taylor may not be as big. I still think she's a chance at a medal. I think statistically, you argue she's not going to medal, but I still think she could. As you said, anything can happen. I wonder though, it's just to me, it's so obviously has to be Taylor Spivey based on the numbers. But you're right. It maybe
Mm.
is an emotional thing. Maybe there's stuff we don't understand. Maybe it isn't. I think it's Taylor and Katie. They're my picks. That's what I think is going for the women's American
Yeah,
team.
I would very much like that to be the case.
So let's just do it
And
then. Men's French team. This seems to be a thing we do every couple of weeks. Let's see. So we'll make our picks. Men's French team, men's British team, women's British team, American women's team. Start with what was the first one I said? French team,
men's
men's.
French. Onyx,
Yep,
because
he's done it.
you believe there's a comeback there. Um,
Berger.
Pierre
No, no,
Lecour
Pierre Lecour, sorry.
and Leo Biget.
You pick him, Leo?
No, sorry. No, I didn't mean to say Leo. I meant Vince
I'm
because I
gonna
made a big
go.
thing about that
I'm gonna go the
previously.
same, except I'm picking Leo instead of. I mean, I'm going. There's the
Okay.
two guys
All
who
right.
can. I pick Leo over Vince personally.
Okay. I'll be right on that one.
Okay. I think you.
Brace
Okay.
for impact. Um, what was the next one we need to do?
British men's. So we know that there's
British
Alex
men's.
Yee.
It's going to be Brownlee.
I agree. I think it's Brownlee.
Yeah.
British women's, and
British.
Beth.
Yeah. So it'd be Beth, it'd be Georgia Taylor Brown, and it'd be Sophie Caldwell.
I'm going to go Beth, Georgia, and Kate. I'm going to, and again, trying to be
I'll be
objective.
right on that one. Brace
Okay.
for impact. And then what was the last one?
American
Women's
women's.
American women. It's what I want and what I think.
Look at what you think. Go what you think and explain why.
Okay. I think they will pick obviously Taylor Knibb. I believe they'll pick Katie Zaviras because just how well she did here shows that there's a chance she could on her day have her day. Oof. Oof. This is a tough one. This last slot.
Mixed team relay. Does mixed team relay change your mind at all? Because Taylor Knibb's never really done the Super League stuff. Katie and Taylor Spivey are very good at Super League.
This is such a fucking hard one, man.
It's tough, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's not. I think it's. I mean, I'll jump in. It's Taylor and Katie for me.
Yeah, yeah, I get that for you. And you might be right. I've just got a feeling. I've got a horrible
We're going to make your pick.
feeling
Make your
inside
pick.
me.
Do it. Do it.
All right. Taylor Knibb, Katie Zaviras, Gwen Jorgensen.
Well, I'm going to be correct. Brace for impact.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
Uh,
Uh,
this time next week, we'll have a lot more to say about it, right? Because I believe the teams are announced. So,
yeah, yeah.
see
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens.
And then you just go on like wrap those fuckers in bubble wrap,
Mhm.
you know, keep them healthy, keep them happy, and we'll see what happens on the day. I am stoked for the Olympics. I can't wait.
Yeah, like I said, I think to me the gold medals are already sorted. I think I know who's going to win the gold medals in the individuals and the mixed team relay. Cassandre Beaugrand, Alex Yee in France. They're the golds. I'd put money on that.
Yeah.
France is
Yeah, absolutely.
France is 100% winning the gold medal unless there's a crash.
Oh yeah,
France
mixed
wins that
team
mixed
relay.
team.
It's
France.
it's and it'll be a cool moment, you know.
Yeah,
I have an interesting relationship with the French. Yeah, spending time over there as I do, and but I would never resent them that moment in their capital city having that gold medal moment. It'd be brilliant. Um, I mean, we're going to do obviously a much more contextualized in the moment Olympic picks, but right now, Alex Yee, Cassandre Beaugrand, and France. So I mean, we're both on exactly the same page, which again doesn't make for the best podcasting, but it would be a fool, I think, to bet otherwise.
I agree. Look, let's put the short course stuff to bed. Let's talk any other races. I don't really want to talk about many things that have happened. I'm more interested in talking about things that are coming up from this point. I can't think of any. Were there any races of note over the weekend? I know there was the challenge. There was
Um,
a challenge race, but I don't really want to talk
yeah, there was a
about
challenge race, but it wasn't even gives a shit. Um,
that. Look out, mate. You're going to get in
um,
trouble next. It won't be
oh
me
no,
this time.
yeah, I'm gonna get a phone call, aren't I? I
Um,
meant about that specific one.
let's talk about Hamburg. I'm in
Yeah,
Hamburg
Hamburg
happening this
is
weekend.
coming up this weekend, Sunday, June the 2nd. It's 6:15 local time, which is 5:15 in the UK, and whatever
I'm in.
fucking time that is in Australia. Who
Who
knows?
cares? Ironman Pro Series women's race. It's the Women's European Championships.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Kat Matthews is there, Marja Nielsen is there, Fenella Langridge is there. Who else is gonna be
Sarah
there?
Svensk, I think I saw on the start list.
Yeah, Daniela
Blimehole,
Blimehole is going to be there. Jackie Herring is going to be there.
Jackie Herring.
So, I want Sarah Spence. You've already said that, haven't you?
Hmm.
So yeah, that'll be an interesting race. Um,
It's Cat Matthews.
yeah,
It's Cat
yeah,
Matthews.
yeah. I think it is. I think it is. I think it's almost a no-brainer. Like you were saying earlier, you're not getting that. The fields aren't.
Did I say that on this or the bonus episode? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
You
me
said it
either.
somewhere.
Said it somewhere.
You're just we're not getting those
Women's
really
fields in the
interesting,
Ironman.
exciting women's fields in the Ironman Pro Series. And not to take anything away from these athletes, but for my money, Kat Matthews is head and shoulders the winner of this race
Yeah,
before the guns even gone off.
same. The only thing is uh how she's recovered from Texas. I don't obviously don't know. I don't know, but to me, it's just like it's Cat. The others like maybe, but I just think it's Cat by. I don't have much to say about it really. Like I could tell you how I think the race is going to go. Finilla's going to get out of the water with a gap. They're going to ride up to her. Cat's going to run away, win it by minutes. I think. Again, unless
You should be a commentator, mate.
sounds like an no, that would be a world triathlon commentator, mate. I mean, the amount of time
Yeah,
we spent talking about Olympic qualification, I basically am a world triathlon commentator. But yeah, like I don't have heaps to say about this race other than yeah, I'm yet to see the depth of field in the Ironman Pro Series Ironman events from the women in particular. I think that we've seen excellent depth of field in the 70.3 races. Like we've had some fantastic events, but I'm underwhelmed by the Ironman Pro Series Ironman races. And it makes me wonder, like, is Ironman distance racing, like, you get to Kona, like last year's Kona women's race, fields were absolutely incredible. But I guess the preference is the middle distance because I still think middle distance women's racing at the moment is it's the most competitive racing or like depth of field or strength of athletes I've seen in such a long time. Like there's so many incredible athletes racing the sport at the moment.
yeah.
It's not in Ironman. So I think this Ironman Pro Series, yeah, the Ironman races, I wish more. Like, I mean, obviously Daniela Reese a bit injured, but we've also got the T100 race the week after. So that's why you're probably not getting. That's probably why and how I opted for Lanzarote instead of this event. Yeah, it's a little bit underwhelming to be honest, but yeah, I think Cat Matthews is going to walk away with it.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
T100 San Francisco's next week, mate.
It is indeed. There isn't a preview of that anywhere. I haven't got the start list. Have you got the start list?
I think you probably get on their website. If you go to
Yeah,
the
let me have a
PTO
look.
website, you might be able to pull it up. But I'd forgotten this was coming up so soon, to be honest. Like I'd been, talking and thinking about London a lot, and then it wasn't until yesterday I checked the schedule because I was looking at that Dubai race. I'm like, fucking hell, San Francisco's next weekend. Uh, I feel like, and again, I'm not trying to be, I just feel like the conversation's kind of died off about the T100 a bit lately. Like that San Francisco race happened, there's a lot of talk about Yuri Kulin, and then I don't really hear much happening about it lately. So, uh,
No, everything's not loading properly.
let me see if I can pull it up while you're doing that. But I mean, what do
It's
you think?
like
In your
the
circles, are you
websites.
hearing much about it, or
It's not. I mean, I see a lot of they're quite active on social media, so it pierces my bubble a fair amount, but it's always from their accounts. I'm not seeing a huge amount of noise around it. Can you load the web page? The web page is
I'm doing it now?
absolutely
I'm
freaking
working
out
on
on
it.
me.
I'm working on it. You keep talking.
So yeah, I'm not seeing a huge amount of buzz around it, but I think what they do quite well is generate their own intensity and buzz leading up to the race, and then they create a really interesting and well-rounded race weekend package. And I've got a lot of time for that.
I've got the start lists for you, mate.
Nice, good
I did the
work.
Lord's work for you. So, women's race: Ash Gentle, Taylor Knibb, Anne Haug, Paula Finlay, Laura Phillip, finally going to make a race in the 200 series. Emma Pallet Brown, India Lee, Chelsea Sodaro, Imogen Simmons, Lucy Byram, Amelia Watkinson, Katie Kivioja, sorry about that one, Laura Madsen, Jocelyn McCauley, Grace Steck, Tamara Jewett, Anne Bergstein, Jeannie Metzler, Margie Santamaria. In the men's race,
Taylor
yep.
Taylor Nib for the win, then, eh?
Do you think
Yeah, why not?
after what happened in Cagliari over the weekend, you don't think there's a bit of fatigue or a bit of a shift of focus to, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
if there's a
Yeah,
time where there's a bit of uncertainty around Taylor Knibb, I think it's now. I wouldn't as Taylor Knibb winning it wouldn't shock me. Ash Gentle was very, 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 very good in
yeah,
Singapore.
yeah. I'd not forgotten Ash Gentle, but yes.
Do you know who else I think could be really good here, mate? Emma Pallant Brown.
Isn't it hot in San Francisco?
No, of course not. Isn't Escape from Alcatraz famously a cold race?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
So,
I don't know
yeah,
what America is.
I'm interested to see India Lee because she was so good. Obviously, so good in Miami. She was so good at the championship the other day. Singapore obviously didn't suit, and she was a bit sick or injured or DNF'd, but
She was sick. She was
sick.
sick. Yeah.
India Lee, I think, has also earned our praise. Anne Haug, though, however, is another one that I am. I think Anne Haug could actually do this, mate. Very good swimmer,
It's
very good
going to be
biker,
it's
incredible
a
runner.
really shit hot start list for all of for not just because of the names that's on it, but because of what those people have recently achieved. You've got Ashley Gentle's been on a rich vein of form. Anne Howe did that thing in Lanzarote. Taylor Knibb is like the T1000.
She's
She's just
Taylor
fucking
Knibb.
unstoppable.
Yeah, just
You know, you've got all these different athletes coming in, all with their own narratives and stories around what they're achieving, and then they're going to go head to head in this race, and it's going to be really exciting watching it play out.
we haven't seen Tamara Jewett really feature much this year, and I think at some point she's going to.
No, yeah, well, I keep picking her, don't I? So probably when I don't pick her is when she's going to feature.
The men's race, we've got Sam Long, Magnus Ditlev, I guess back from the broken wrist, Peter Heimrich, Jason West, Mathis Magerier, Frederick Funk, Rudy von Berg, Carl Smith, Amino Coolhouse, Dave McNamee, Bradley Weiss, Clement Mignon, or as we like to call him, Filet Mignon, uh,
Filet mignon.
Rico Bergen, Jackson Laundry, Aaron Royal, Mika Newt, Alistair Brownlee, interesting, Ben Canute, Martin Van Riel, and Javier Gomez. The men's race, I think, is a lot more interesting. And I may not pick the same person to win this that you do, but what do you think is going to happen? Oh yeah, good one.
Gomez. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's 11:15 at night
You're
here
crushing it,
now.
mate. You're doing the Lord's work.
So Gomez, mate, gun to
Mm,
tape.
I'm
No, I don't. But
I'm very
just
curious to see Javier race, to be honest. We haven't seen him.
it's been a while, isn't it?
He did a few races earlier this year, but there was always a problem or something. But Like
Mm.
we really haven't truly been able to see what he's been doing since he started working with Dan Plews. And I'm keen to. I'm not going to pick him for my win.
No,
Is it Sam Long? Do you think that Sam Long is, we've seen what Sam has done. Is there anybody that can beat Sam Long at the moment? Is it Magnus? Is he like, what, how do you see this going? Another dead, like, people love the dead air. They think that their
they love
podcast
the dead air.
catches great.
I see Sam Long winning this race.
Interesting. I don't.
Do you
I
not?
don't.
Who do you pick?
Martin Van Riel. Don't even need to. Not even a. I think Martin Van Riel is the chosen one at middle distance race. I've been saying this for a long time.
Yeah, I mean the guy is fucking shit hot, and
Yeah.
he is shit hot.
What
I
about
just think
Magnus?
Sam Long is Magnus. Yeah, I mean he's certainly up there. Um, it depends, doesn't it, on how he's feeling? He's coming back from a broken wrist. Did that take any toll on him? What sort of gap did he have to take from his training? For me, I'm just not going to pick him because he's had that slight injury thing, and this might just be part of his coming back to form thing.
I just
Not
don't want
because
to
I don't think
support
he's
boring
capable on
racing.
his day.
I just don't want to get on board with boring racing.
No.
I'd rather see a bit of excitement.
Martin
Alistair
Van Riel
Brownlee.
would be. I'd love to see Martin Van Riel win this race because he's badass. Alistair Brownlee again. Well, we'll see. We'll see more of the same, I think.
I'm not doing it anymore. I've crossed
No,
I'm not, my days of
no,
picking
no.
Ali Brownlee are behind me.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm with you. I don't think I can pick him for a win. I don't think my conscience would allow me to make that decision based on the metrics I've seen going in. It's just, it would be, it would be a very unsensible decision to make.
So
Doesn't
yeah,
mean he won't win it because he
yeah.
might just have a blinder.
Are you excited? Like, how are the anticipation levels for this race? Are you like, I've read
Yeah, I
through those
am.
start lists.
I am excited. I like I said, I've got a lot of time for their social media. I've got a lot of time for the buzz they create leading up to the races. I've got a lot of time for the energy and the really quite well produced race package they do for the weekend. And I do enjoy watching the racing. So yeah, I'm here for it. And I think the Escape from Alcatraz angle is adds an extra element that will just add to the experience. I think it'd be cool.
I reading the start list gets me a lot more excited because that's a really like both
Yeah.
those fields are really like tail and
They
end
are, they are
fire.
strong. They're strong lists, and that's in direct contrast to the start list we just read out for the Ironman Pro Series in Hamburg, where you go like, yeah, there's names on there, but Cat Matthews is going to take it. You reading that start list out, and my brain's going like, right, well, this athlete's been doing this. This is one we're doing this. Success here, success here, success here, coming together. It's going to be a race, fucking banging. I'm more excited for the women's race than I am the men's.
Me too. I I mean, I've said I just wonder at what point are people going to start giving out because it's been like high octane start to this season with so many athletes having so many good performances. We're in May. I mean, when this comes out, it's May today, so basically May. We're halfway through the year, and we've already had so many of these incredible events. I just wonder, like Kona's still, 4 months away, and Nice is what 3 and a bit months away. Like there's a lot to go and a lot to happen between now and then. I am a little bit curious about how it maintains, but I'm yeah, man. Like I'm really looking forward to this. We try to get it.
Nice is going to be interesting, isn't it?
Is it? Is it
Yeah,
actually? Like
yeah.
again, talking
I
about
think
the Hamburg race and everything, like who's going to be there?
Lucy Charles-Barclay's going to be there, mate.
Nope, she's not doing Nice. She came out at the start of the
Yeah,
year and said she's not doing Nice. She's all in on
I
the
know.
T100.
You wait, you wait, you wait.
You think she's going to be there?
I have a feeling.
Okay, interesting. I think that okay, Nice is getting close actually. I just don't see people going for it. Like I look at it and the people pre-qualified and then I go, okay, well, of course it doesn't suit a lot of people. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, right? Maybe I'm looking forward to Kona this year. I think it's going to be like, even the Norwegians, right? Like Christian Gustav got to get their spots. How's that going to happen?
Yeah,
How's
yeah, yeah,
Christian going to get to Kona this year? Because he's not going to be doing anything but between now and the Olympics. He'll get a wild card if he wins the Olympics, which I don't think he's going to do. Notice we didn't talk about Christian
yeah.
once.
I know, I
Not
know.
one. I love you, mate.
He's
I love
either
you.
either we've nailed it and he's just not going to factor, or he's a stealth bastard and he's just going to like embarrass us.
He's
I
again
don't trust him.
the only thing with the like. I think the reason that I'm sort of a bit more concerned, like when Gustav was doing the Gustav thing, I kept saying, no, no, it's all part. And then I was like, no, no, he's actually just not great at the moment. I
Yeah.
don't think they're very good at hiding this stuff. Like, I don't think they have that ability to do it. And like, I think back to the whole, like, All Love coming out saying the numbers are better than we've ever seen before. Were they? Like, were they actually? So yeah,
Mm.
I don't know. We'll see though. But yeah, look, Jimbo, if people want to find out more about Talking Triathlon, let's wrap it up there. As well, we're going to get going in a bigger circle. If people want to find out more about Talking Triathlon, all that stuff, what do they need to do?
Yeah, if you want to support the show, jump on at patreon.com/talking triathlon. If you want to follow Tim, he's at T14 on Insta, and I'm at bale.james85 on Insta. Find us across all social networks at Talking Triathlon on Instagram and at Talk Triathlon on Twitter. If you join the Patreon group, you'll get access to the monthly bonus episode and the social group and the WhatsApp group. And the WhatsApp group is ever growing and ever interesting. And it pretty much on a daily basis, that group makes me smile or chuckle or laugh.
Yeah, it's a good time. You can also head to youtube.com. It's probably the best place to give us your thoughts. Let us know who your picks are for those teams. I'd love to hear who people think are going to get picked if you're watching on YouTube down below. Yeah, as James said, all that stuff, Patreon. We just recorded the episode today. It's how we get the video editor and stuff. Need to get those reels out a bit more, Jimbo. A pleasure as always, mate. Thank you for the late night. And guys, we'll be back next week. Talk to you later.
Cheerio.